In the last video, we cut a hole through this mess to open up my road, but I didn't show you the catastrophe that caused this situation. I showed you the trees that came down on the other side of the fence that took out my road that goes through the timber company's property to access my property. Those trees down there belong to them. They fell down in a small strip of timber they left to protect the gully down below. This is one of the common things that happens around clear cuts. When trees grow up together, they kind of support each other when the wind blows. But when you cut all the trees down over here, the wind comes and blows these ones over, or that way, or whatever way. That's what happened down along my access road, and it's also what happened along my south line. Looking up the property line, on the right, that's the timber company's property where they clear cut. On the left, where there are trees, that's my property. There used to be more trees on my side. We'll take a walk up the hill here and I'll show you the scene of the incident. This is a good time to test out my wireless microphone. Can you hear me now? How about now? Do you hear me now? Do you hear me now? Right down here is where the gate is. Right here is the big root wad that took out the road just below the gate. And way up the hill here, what do we have? We got more big root wads. These trees that used to be here were protecting these ones over here from the wind. Now that these ones are gone, these ones blew over last winter. And they are big, way too big for the LT15 and too big for the tractor to lift an 8-foot piece of it. They're big in diameter and they are tall. The top goes way down there, you can't even see it. All the way down in the road at the bottom of the hill. Got more over here. These ones are smaller, but they're still too big for the LT15. Need a Lucas mill on some of these. This one might fit on the LT15, but this one probably wouldn't even fit on an LT40 wide. You would have to modify it some with the chainsaw, I think. Then if we go up the hill, there's more. Here's a smaller one. Prime material for the LT15. Mostly straight, small knots. One more down over here. A bigger one up above it. This is another big one. This is only the middle of the tree. Let's look at the butt end of it. Just keeps going and going and going. These are some big sticks. These first ones I showed you are the ones that made the mess down in the road that we cleaned up. A little bit of haze today from the wildfire smoke. When you go inland, it's pretty smoky, but down here close to the coast, we got some cleaner marine air coming in. You can't really see it in this direction because of all the trees, but the air is totally clean over there. That's commonly how it is in the smoky season. Smoky inland, more clear on the coast. We're going downhill now toward the road we cleaned up. A third of the way up the tree, it's still big. All those logs over there. Another one over here. Right down there is the road we cleaned up. There's my dump trailer down there. The log just keeps going and going and going. There's the road. Here we are at the bottom of the hill and the tops of the trees. The root wads are right there. Not only did the big trees come down, but look at all the individual stems that are cut off of the smaller trees that they knocked down. A lot of trees came down. That is just what happened on that side of the road. Now we'll take a look at what happened on that side of the road. There used to be trees over here, but since they cut them down, the wind was able to blow freely into this stand that is now newly exposed to the wind. This one broke off, that one broke off. We got two prime-sized sawmill logs here. This one knocked into that one, which is another big tree. Very tall tree. You can't even see where it ends. Got more up there. That's another big one. That top, I think, blew out of that one. Another big root wad. Just keeps going and going and going. A lot of these ones on this side of the road are grand fir, which is a true fir. The ones on the other side of the road are Doug fir, which is not a true fir. These aren't worth as much, probably the equivalent of balsam fir for those of you on the East Coast. This young, healthy, fast-growing Doug fir went down. They fell all around this old hay shed, but somehow none of them hit it. There we have it, a huge, giant, oversized mess. Clearly this was caused by the timber company harvesting their timber. Could I go after the timber company and get damages from them? Probably not. As far as I can see, they followed forest practice regulations and did everything the way they're required to do. But this is the kind of collateral damage that is not uncommon around clear cuts. Now the question is, what am I going to do with all this wood? My original plan was to bring the sawmill here and mill a lot of it up, but the market for fir lumber is lousy right now. I'm still trying to sell a lot of the lumber I cut earlier this year. When I do sell it, I have to drop the price so much, it's hardly worth milling it. And there are some challenges with bringing the sawmill here. For one, the LT15 is not very mobile. It's several hours away. I would have to disassemble it, load it up, haul it down here, unload it, reassemble it, level it, and most of the volume in these logs are in the pieces that are too big to even fit on the LT15. I would have to quarter them with the chainsaw to get them to fit. Then after I'm done cleaning this mess up, I would have to disassemble it again, haul it back to the other property where I'm going to need it later in the year. It would be a big ordeal to do all this just to mill up a bunch of lumber that people just aren't buying very much right now. A year ago, when the demand for lumber was high and the prices were high, it would have made a lot more sense to do all that work to bring the sawmill down here. But right now, it's just not a good time to be cutting softwood lumber around here. And all this wood around here would be a lot of wood to try to mill up on the LT15 between now and winter. But it's not enough wood to justify bringing in some equipment to salvage log all this downed wood and ship it to the commercial mills. There's also some government regulation challenges to have to deal with in order to do that. By the time I got through all that red tape, the fall rains would probably be here, the roads would get too slick, and we wouldn't be able to get any logs out anyway. But the firewood market in this area is much better than it is over in the other area where the other property is. Firewood's cheap over there, but over here, prices are actually really good. That is why I brought the wood splitter instead of the sawmill. There's a lot of volume up here, and it would be a shame to cut up all these nice saw logs into firewood. But for now, I'm going to start cutting up the lower grade material into firewood until I decide what I want to do with the better grade saw logs. So what do you think? What would you do if you had all this wood to deal with? Let me know in the comments. And while you're there, do me a favor and hit the like button for me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.